This. Sawa. Chini hapo. And you put your knees down. Make sure that you slant your knees. So that now, I don't want your knees protruding outwards. Sorry, not your knees, your elbows. I don't want your elbows protruding outwards. I want them to protrude backward. Alright? Not outward, but rather backward. Okay? We're doing that 10 times. For the advanced, same. With your knees off the floor. Remember, your elbows protrude backwards. Alright? You're still being able to hit the chest, but remember, we're targeting the triceps. 10 reps. Let's do this. So beginners, you can push for 5 or even 10 with your knees down. The rest, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. Are you okay? Now, our that exercise, we're going to be doing the Bulgarian split squat. I want to demonstrate before now we start. Remember for that, tunaanza wapi? Tunaanza pike push-up, then to get tricep push-ups, stand up to tufanye hii. Okay? So now, just want to demonstrate the Bulgarian split lunge. You're there. Okay? Just take your knee down. Keep your chest out. Chin up. Go down. Come back up. Go down. Come back up. Okay? That is our next exercise. We're pushing for 15 reps. But we're starting on the first exercise, which is the pike push-up for shoulders. Up. Toes. We're going for 5. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I know it's not easy. It's boring, but it's not easy. Put enough stress on the shoulder. Second exercise. Narudia tena the push-up. Remember, we're doing the triceps. So please form that diamond up there. Okay, there. I've said for beginners or intermediate, you have it there with your knees down, your elbows protruding backward, not outward. Okay, so we're going for 10 there. Okay, you see my elbows are facing back, they're not facing outward, facing backward. Up. Are we good? For 10 reps. Beginners, let's go. Intermediate, let's go. Advanced, let's go. As we are up here. The other guys, let's go with your knees down. 1, back, knees, 2. Alright? Let's go. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. But so from there, try and get the lunges, the split lunges. We're doing 15 reps. Okay, how's your triceps? Are you feeling it? I'm already starting to feel my shoulder, starting to feel my triceps. I hope you're getting it as well. So we're doing 15 on each leg. Take your time, don't rush. Take the leg down, balance. 1. Get the balance as well. Good. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Change the leg, the other leg. Same. Sorry, losing my balance there. Are we okay? Same count, 15 reps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. How are you feeling? Are you okay? Oh, feels good, eh? Remember, next week Monday, me and you, we're here. We're going to do a full leg workout, okay? A pyramid exercise for legs. So please, don't miss out. Good job. So, our next exercise from the lunges, we're going to go to the Superman. I want to demonstrate before we start up again. Sorry, my house is a bit small, so I'll put my hands here, this way, then I go up and down. Okay, so you're basically lifting your upper body, your chest off the floor with your hands as well. Then try lift your thighs, your quads off the mat as well at the same time. So the only point that is balancing you is your lower back, okay? Good stuff. So we're starting back from the start. The pipe push-up, the tricep push-up, we come to the Bulgarian lunges. Then from there, we go here for the Superman for 20 reps. Are you good? Good stuff. So let's start. Up for 5, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Woo! And breathe. Breathe, recover for a few seconds. From there, tunaingia the tricep. Remember the diamond. Yeah. We usually call it the diamond push-up as well. Very good for your triceps. Very good for the triceps. Remember I said beginners, intermediate, you can place your knees down and go. Make sure that your elbows are facing the protruding backwards, not outward. Okay? The rest, advance to hapo. Let's go 10 counts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yeah, relax. Recover for a few seconds. After we go back, the Bulgarian lunges, split lunges. Are you okay? Leo kuna mbio, sukumi mbio, it's not so much of cardio strength. Tunapeleka pole pole, okay? I want you to recover a bit. Breathe. Breathe. I'm sure you're okay. From there, we're here, 15. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Balance. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Balance the other leg. Same, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 to go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Ha ha ha. How are you feeling? Are you okay? Reps naguza. Still full body, still body weight. Excellent exercises. Make sure that you add them to your every other day workout routine. It's body weight. And it's awesome. Good. From there, try and get a super mat. So you put your face down. Your hands there. Then you know to do up. Then you go down. Then you know, and you go down. Okay. That's what we're doing. Only 20 reps. Can we start? Good stuff. Now let's get started. Go on your pace. Beginners, intermediate. Try work with a minimum of 10. But if you can hit all the way to 20, even better. Remember, it's a pyramid exercise. Do not condition reps, okay? Good. Fire from there, let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 20. Good. Right there for a few seconds. Punga hewa. They say in Swahili. Breathe. Our next exercise, we're going to do a corkscrew core exercise here. Okay, just bring in the knees, see if you want to hit your chest up. Okay? Okay, that's what we're going to do next. We're doing that for 25 reps. But remember, as the chain goes, tunaanza pale juu. So we're starting with 5 pike, 10 tricep push-up, 15 Bulgarian split squats. We come to 20 Superman, then we hit a core. Alright? Good job. Let's go, starting here 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Breathe. Remember, we do all this in 30 minutes. Okay? So if you need more time, no problem. access the workout on Facebook and TV page, get the exercise, download it, play it back at home for as many reps, as many sets, for as long as you want. Pause it, ensure you're doing the right exercise, the right posture, then you proceed, okay? For now, we're back to the tricep push-ups. We're going for 10. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Good. From there, when you split lunges, split lunges, 15 on each leg. You can start with either leg, I'm okay. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We balance the other leg. Same set. For 5. Are we ready? Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Take a second breather, relax, breathe. So we're going back to the Superman. We're doing 20 reps. Then from there, you can get 2 more. Are you okay? You good? Some few more seconds of break, not to delay. I'm also panting. Good. Breathe there. Good. Apple. Good stuff. Perfecto. You ready? We're going for 20 reps. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Breathe, 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 breathe. Relax. Are you okay? Pole. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Back here, breathe, relax. Are you okay? How are you feeling? Very good. Good stuff. Okay, from there, and get tumbo. Okay. So So all I want you to do, place your hands backwards, up. Okay. Bring in the knee up. Okay. If you don't have to swing side to side, it's fine. You can still do it from one position there. Alright, we're pushing for 25 reps. If time allows, we're going to go to our next exercise, which is the pistol exercise. If time doesn't allow, we'll demonstrate the pistol exercise. Then please make sure that you repeat the whole cycle from the 5 pike push-ups all the way down to do the pistol. Okay? Pistol we'll be doing for 30 reps. So we're here now, 25 reps. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 more. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good stuff. You can see we don't have so much time, we have less than 2 minutes. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to demonstrate the pistol squat. We're going to use our beautiful stool here. So one leg up, you go down, then you come back up. Alright, you go down, come back up. So we're supposed to do that for 30 reps. But remember, you're supposed to start up from the 5 pike, the 10 tricep push-ups, 15 lunges, all the way down to there. Because of time, we're going to balance 15-15 on each leg. Okay, but for you, after this, start again from the 5 pike, go all the way down to the 25 core exercise. Then you come here, you do 30 on each leg, 30 pistol squats. Okay, because of time, please allow me. I'm going to do 10 on the right, 10 on the left. Just make sure that you get the concept right and you're able to do it on your own. So let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good job. We balance the other leg. Same. 10 reps. Let's go. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and last one, 10. Thank you so much for joining me today. We do a small stretch. Please make sure that after every exercise, you take your 2-3 minutes or more and do a proper stretch. Okay? Go there. Stretch the other side. Good. You here. The other side. Sorry. Good. Come back here. Good. There. Perfect. Put the waistline here. The other side. Shrug your shoulders. Good. Your neck round one side, the other side. Perfecto. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. Out. Breathe in. And out. Thank you so much for joining NTVT's in Uganda this morning. See you next week on Monday. Tomorrow Eve will be with you. Bye bye.
Hello, Susan. Yes, you. Holding that pack. I know you've been avoiding me because in the past I've made you uncomfortable. Maybe even caused you pain. But I want you to know that I have changed. For you.
Hey, what is this?
You can love me again if you're willing to give me another chance. Meet me at aisle 4. Hey, Susan.
It's lactose free!
We know you love milk, and now there is milk that loves you. With Gold Crown lactose-free milk, you can enjoy the richness of natural cow's milk without any of the digestion discomfort. Gold Crown lactose-free milk that loves you.
Credit to you if you stay at home. If you must shop online, use your NCBA credit card. Stay home. Stay safe.
Mix of the Week in association with Airtel.
Don't check my energy.
For the journey, for the journey. We got God for the journey.
Bossy, bossy.
Look in the mirror, say yes, I'm the best.
This is a short deal.
Completely transparent.
Okay.
If only all things in life were as honest as Airtel's amazing data. Get 500 MB free daily. Switch to Airtel and save. The Honest Network.
Akili, 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 akili.
Let's chase the germs away. Let's chase the germs away by keeping our hands clean. And when you want to sneeze or when you want to cough, do it in your elbow. Let's practice sneezing into your elbow. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. Achoo! Again. Achoo! Yay! You did it! Germs, germs, germs. They make us sick. Germs, germs, germs are not our friends. Germs, germs, germs. They make us sick. Germs, germs, germs. Germs, germs, germs are not your friends.
DJ Mo, the roughest and the toughest.
Your favorite reggae show NTV Jam Down live on the screens kila saa tumaze kuanzia saa 4 mpaka saa 6 na hii wiki itakuwa ni noma sana all the way from Kingston, Jamaica. Tutakuwa na Ojeman the Great
kama kawaida giving you good music, good vibes and of course guests from all over the world.
at 10 p.m. till late. DJ Mo alongside Miss Katiwa. We are live.
So see you soon and keep safe.
More spice.
Medication. Your medication makes me high.
Greener vegetable oil stays liquid to the last drop, so it's smooth cooking from start to finish. Now with an easy to pour cap. Mapishi poa, madishi poa.
This is NTV.
Hello, East Africa. Welcome to your world this Thursday, the 8th day of October. Today, we want to focus on our senior citizens, the older persons who are hard hit by COVID-19. They were not only vulnerable to the disease, but they were also seriously affected by the lockdown at the start of the pandemic. So a few months on, we're asking, how are they doing? Well, good morning. My name is Joseph Warungu, and coming up, caring for the older persons. We'll look at the nature and quality of care for older people in Kenya. We take a look at how care centers operate in Tunisia. This Ethiopian ethnic group held minimized celebrations for their Thanksgiving Day.
On the basis of the success and effectiveness of our elimination strategy,
New Zealand announces COVID-19 wave has been contained. This morning we're asking you, how do you or will you care for your older parents and grandparents or relatives? Would you send them to a care home? Let us know on our hashtag #NewNormal. But before that, let's track the impact of COVID-19 around the world. And this is how the situation looks globally. 36,391,057 people have so far been confirmed positive for COVID-19. Of these, 27,408,529 have so far recovered, while 1,060,443 people around the world have so far unfortunately passed on as a result of COVID-19. On the African continent, starting with South Africa, this is the situation there. 685,155 people so far confirmed positive for COVID-19. Out of these, 618,127 have so far recovered, while unfortunately in South Africa they've lost 17,248 people as at today. Moving across our region now, starting with our own country, Kenya, 39,907 people confirmed positive for COVID-19. Out of these, 31,659 have so far recovered, and unfortunately, sadly, we've lost 748 people in Kenya as a result of the disease. Across our other East African neighbors, Uganda, 9,260 people so far confirmed positive for COVID-19. Of these, 5,588 have recovered. 85 people have passed on in Uganda as a result of COVID-19. Some of our neighbors, Somalia, this is their situation. 3,745 people so far confirmed positive, and of these, 3,010 have recovered, while sadly in Somalia they've lost 99 people. And finally in Rwanda, this is a situation there. 4,883 people so far confirmed positive for COVID-19. 3,408 have recovered, and in Rwanda, unfortunately, as of today, they've lost 29 people. So that's how it looks in our country, in our region, and around the world. Now, before we get into anything else, let's have a look at some of the other stories we have for you this morning. Nobel Peace Laureate Denis Mukwege says that anyone denying crimes against humanity and genocide had been committed in DR Congo was acting in bad faith as he lobbied for an international criminal tribunal into rights abuses in his country. The renowned gynecologist and surgeon received death threats earlier this year after campaigning for the end of impunity for rapes and killings during the two Congo wars between 1996 to 98 and also 1998 to 2003, and the subsequent bloodshed that still afflicts the country's eastern region. But the threats have not stopped Mukwege, who shared the 2018 Nobel Peace Prize for his work. against sexual violence in war. He spoke to AFP in a rare interview on Thursday to mark the 10th anniversary of a United Nations mapping report that outlined the most serious human rights violations surrounding the two wars, but has been widely ignored.
Des officiers dans l'armée, dans la police, je suis menacé depuis très longtemps. Vous savez, je crois que cette façon d'intimider, surtout de faire des malversations intellectuelles pour...
Members of Ethiopia's largest ethnic group, the Oromo, gather under heavy security in Addis Ababa for a scaled-back version of their annual Thanksgiving festival against a backdrop of unrest and political division.
Many people are not happy, especially like Oromo people. They are not happy with what's going on right now. So if those people are gathering together, maybe they slogan something against the government.
Thousands of members of the powerful Murid Brotherhood flocked to the Great Mosque of Touba on the occasion of the Grand Magal pilgrimage, the first large-scale gathering in Senegal since the outbreak of the coronavirus. Masks, hand gel and paper bags for storing shoes are handed out at the entrance of the building as part of the measures introduced to counter the disease, with physical distancing impossible to enforce. Malik Nian, an employee of the Great Mosque, says, "We follow the instructions given by the Caliph General of the Murids, Serin Muntaka Basirumbak, which are to wear a mask and queue up for prayers in an orderly manner. There's no real difference. I would even say that there are more people than last year." Ndeye Ndiaye, a Murid Muslim, says, "It's pure joy. We often say that Serin Tura, the founder of Muridism, always has a solution. We feared that the Magal would not take place, but in the end, the faithful came en masse and there is almost no room left." Ghanaian President Nana Akufo-Addo files his candidacy for the presidential election scheduled to be held on December the 7th. The chairperson of the Electoral Commission of Ghana said it is the first time a sitting president of the Republic has visited the commission to submit his nomination forms. Supporters of Akufo-Addo's New Patriotic Party cheer on the streets as the presidential vehicle departs the Electoral Commission head office.
On behalf of the Electoral Commission of Ghana, I warmly welcome His Excellency the President and His Excellency the Vice President and all of you to the Commission this morning. Indeed, this is the very first time the sitting President of the Republic has visited the Commission to submit his nomination form. As part of the Commission's efforts to ensure a transparent, credible, fair and yet accountable process, the Commission has developed a detailed checklist that embodies the criteria to be satisfied by the presidential candidates as prescribed by law. We are confident that the 5-day period provided for the filing process, as opposed to the 2 days provided in previous nomination processes, will allow enough time for presidential candidates to correct any errors identified in their forms. We believe that this would help eliminate the tension and rancor that characterized previous nomination processes.
It was a sigh of relief for over 50 malnourished older persons and children in Oyugis after they received food donations to supplement their diet. Since Kenya recorded its first case of COVID-19, many older people, especially in rural areas, have been struggling to access quality and nutritious food. Bernardo Joang has more.
As elderly persons and children, especially in rural areas, continue to remain at risk during this time when the whole world is battling the spread of COVID-19, well-meaning Kenyans are turning up to extend help to the vulnerable groups in society.
So the nutrition and the malnutrition, you see that it does not only affect children, but also the elderly and the old-aged. So today, the distribution for food that we are doing are for the families for the old age who have been selected by the elders in the community. We find that now that they are home, they are probably going without meals, or they are only getting 1 meal per day. So we want to continue with that support.
Malnutrition severely weakens the immune system, thus increasing chances of falling ill and dying because of illness. These elderly persons were given food rich in iron, iodine, folate, vitamin A and zinc. Their caretakers were also trained by health specialists on how to take care of the old and what kind of diet they need to be given.
The lunch will be serving rice and beans. It is very important and it is key for us to ensure that the children are having a nutritious meal. That's why we chose and started with uji, because it's balanced.
Juu hii chakula itatusaidia juu mimi kama mimi mwenyewe siwezi hata pata pesa ya kununua sukari, na ninaona mumetuletea mpaka sukari, mumetuletea mpaka unga, na hiyo unga ya uji iko na nguvu, tena iko na madini yote yenye itafanya mwili zetu na mwili zetu tupate nguvu ya kufanya kila kitu.
Over 150 malnourished children have also been identified and currently benefiting from a local program called Cup of Uji.
Pata zingine mzazi ameshindwa hata kupata chakula ya kupea hata mtoto apate kitu. Sasa watoto wametulemea tangu hii COVID ingie, na hapa shuleni walikuwa napata usaidizi kabisa. Sababu ya hii usaidizi wa uji.
Bernard Ojuang, NTV.
So, welcome again to your world this Thursday morning. And today we're focusing on the senior citizen, the older person in Kenya. With me is a panel of people who operate in that space, and they'll help us to understand what's been going on with our older citizens. First of all, here in the studio, I have Dr. Muthoni Igeshu, who is a medical gerontologist, in other words, an expert on aging and older persons. We are also joined by Carol Agengo, who is a regional director of HelpAge International Africa. And we also have via Zoom Elijah Mwega, who's the founder of Karika Homes. And we'll also be joined by two older citizens or older Kenyans, Grace Wangeshi, who's an older person in a home care, as well as Peter Kamau, another older person also in home care. Those are my guests. You're welcome to send in your comments and your thoughts. What we'd really like to know is what do you plan to do with your older parents, grandparents, and other relatives? Will you be able to care for them at home? Do you send them to home care? Share your thoughts and also your experiences if you've also been a caregiver. Let me start here in the studio. Good morning and welcome to your world, Muthoni.
Good morning. How are you today?
Very well, thank you.
Would you like to be in a care home yourself?
Me?
Have you thought about it?
Whether I'd like to be in a home care?
Yeah, have you thought
I'd
about it?
be in my own home.
Okay, so...
caring for myself.
All right. That's a good way of looking at it.
Yeah, I'm threatening my kids already. Yeah, just to... Okay, so how are you keeping? We spoke about older people at the beginning of the pandemic just to see how... And they were really badly hit by COVID-19. They were vulnerable from the disease themselves, anyone from 58 onwards and so on, and facing all sorts of challenges. So tell me, now it's a few months on, what has been your experience of older people in Kenya and COVID-19?
Several things have happened. One, our healthcare system. Now, actually, this is a time when we get to really understand the kind of healthcare system we have when we're relating to older persons. So that is one area that we really need to look into moving forward. Secondly, our societal fabric. Older persons have been stigmatized in one way or another. For example, this is a time when ageism has really come out. As I know, that's an older person, you cannot go close to them, or you cannot do your usual thing, because again, initially we had to keep them safe. But keeping them safe has led into two things: social isolation and loneliness, where older persons are concerned. Again, we have seen an increase in the gap between the intergenerational interaction. It may not be intentional, it may be propagated by the pandemic, but these are things that we will need to deal with moving forward. Lack of food, malnutrition. Think about somebody who gets their food supplies from their children who do not live with them. During this period or during this season, we have had to experience different dynamics, things that we had not planned for. And anyway, as Africans, we don't have winter, so we don't plan, you know, maybe that far. Again, older persons themselves are afraid of going out to interact with other people, even among themselves, which again was important for prevention. But again, what has it led to? A reduction in interaction, meaning there's a possibility of having higher levels of depression moving forward.
Okay, thank you, Muthoni. Carol, let me come to you as well. What's been your experience of what's been happening to our older citizens?
Thank you, Joseph. As Dr. Muthoni has said, there's been a lot of exclusion of older people, and the fact that older people were noted as being the ones disproportionately predisposed to COVID-19 meant that they were excluded socially, even politically. I didn't see a lot of older people being engaged in the discussions around how to deal with the pandemic. But there was also the distancing that happened. When the lockdown happened, a lot of older people found themselves completely isolated from their loved ones, and the rural-urban dynamic played out because children were in towns and older people were in rural areas and they were not able to see one another. So issues of depression played out. Communication was not always clear because a lot of communication was happening on social media, using technology in languages that were not familiar with a lot of older people. So a lot of older people felt excluded. But if you go to the social side, if we felt the effects of the economy, you can imagine how much more the older people felt it. And in some of the clips that you played earlier on, we saw with the food distribution, we had people saying that they had no other source of food or security in that regard. So there was a lot of suffering amongst older people, and because of fear, they were not even able to go out and look for the food or even look for medicine. We know a lot of older people suffer from diseases, diabetes, hypertension, but they're not even able to access health care because of the lockdowns and the curfews.
Okay, thank you, Carol. Now let me cross over to Elijah Mwega. Good morning and welcome to Your World.
Morning to you.
Now, you are in the business of homes, care homes for our older citizens. What's been your experience about what they've gone through in this pandemic season?
Thank you for this. I want to say majority of older persons have been very much affected by COVID-19 in terms of isolation, food, access to services, and also lack of social spaces where they can get together and share their experiences. It has been very bad because older people were told to remain in the houses. Yes, for prevention, but then there was no food. Others were on a treatment where they have to consult the doctor to visit the hospitals, but now the movement has been cut off. They cannot access clinical services. Therefore, majority of them have really suffered. And I've witnessed many of them breaking the regulations and coming to the center, crying for food, and also sending us to go and pick medicines for them. I think the government had forgotten to look on those issues.
And now, Elijah, from your experience, what's been happening with the care homes? Did you see more people coming into, in other words, more of the older people being admitted into these homes, or did the trend change in any way compared to the past?
One, before we speak about care homes, do we have them in the first place? Because we have only very few here in Nairobi, especially I would only count like 3 or 4. And these ones are already engaged. So you'll find that there are no room. And this is a call to the government to avail the centers, the rescue centers for the older people. I have seen people, older people coming to my center where we are doing the daycare center, and they cry because of isolation and lack of food.
Okay, thank you. Now, Modoni, we were advised by the government of the Republic of Kenya during the lockdown, obviously not to travel up country where the majority of older persons live in order to try and protect them. But this had also its own negative effects.
This is a point where it is true, it had its own negative effects, and it is likely to be carried forward for quite some time. Because again, remember, we all do not really understand the COVID-19. We're all new to COVID-19. And what do we say? Safety first, right? So we needed to protect them. However, we also need to think moving forward. We have technology, yes. Okay, we have always said that we need to have the older persons adapt to technology. How about coming up or developing technology that is actually age-friendly? These are some of the things that we really need to think through. Yes, as in, this is a pandemic that we were not prepared for. We did not have a warning for. So we had to fit into the situation. We keep them safe and then slowly see what issues they're coming up with or issues that are coming, and then we respond to the issues that will be coming, and they will keep coming.
Okay.
Yeah.
And Caro, sadly, during the pandemic, we've witnessed incidents of violence against older people.
Yes. Yes, that is very true. In the Nation newspaper yesterday, there was a piece about gender-based violence during the pandemic. But if you were to go down and break it down, disaggregate it on the basis of age, then you'll also find that older people were also affected by the violence that happened during that period. One, they're vulnerable. During the lockdowns, because the movement was not easy and their loved ones were not able to be with them in the villages, then they were exposed. There was a lot of violence, there was also a lot of abuse, but there was also neglect of older people by taking advantage of the pandemic and actually not providing for older people as they should have been provided for. So that is something that we need to look into when we're discussing violence that happened during those periods. Some of the examples, you find an older person going to get their pension or the cash transfer, and because they don't have any other means of transport, they're relying mainly on the border riders who are rough with them. Some of them even take away their money. And so the level of violence that was meted upon older persons was totally unacceptable. When they went to health centers, a lot of them were waiting for long periods of time and being branded as COVID patients, even when they were simply going for their regular medicines. And so the suffering was increased because they were not able to get the medicines that they need on a day-to-day basis. So those are some of the things we need to really look into. And as we're planning for the new normal, then we have to take into account some of these issues as we look at our health systems and even our social support systems.
Okay, Caro, thank you. Now, let's speak to the older persons themselves. Grace Wangeshi, good morning.
Good morning to you.
Welcome to the program. Tell me about your life at the moment.
At the moment, I'm okay, but whenever I say I'm okay, I usually say according to the others, because when I talk here, I will talk about the other elderly women who are like me, and at the moment we are really suffering, and because we have nothing to eat, we are neglected, isolated, and we are harassed by our own children and the society. The problem is when we were told to stay at home because of the COVID, we stayed at home. We never left our homes. The only place we know is only here, Karika. And that is where we usually come for our help. And whenever we come, we find nothing, and then we go home. So I would say the people, they should remember us here, because we are from age of 60, and the others are over 105 years.
So, Mama
I
Grace,
would say,
compared to what it was today and at the beginning when the pandemic started, have things improved?
It has not improved because we were told to stay at home. And those people, even who are doing some businesses, they cannot be able to go back because they have nothing in their pockets. And the majority, they are still at home. So I cannot say it is better, even it is worse, because most of us women, we are sick, and we need medication. Majority have blood pressure and diabetes. Others have spinal problems and their legs. So I cannot say things have changed. We are still waiting to be told when we are supposed to go back.
So was your
because
family...
the society...
Was your family able to come and visit you?
Yes, they came, but they came to see me. And also even the other women, they usually say they came to see them.
Okay.
But you know, we are...
Go on.
They usually say we are the ones who have coronavirus, the elderly, they have the COVID.
That's terrible. It's actually the other way around. It's you who should be shielded. So people have now pushed the blame onto you. This is stigma of the highest level, which is unacceptable.
That is how it is.
Aya, pole Mama Grace. Now, next to you, I know it's Mzee Peter Kamau. Bwana Peter Kamau, good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning.
You can hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Now, Mzee Kamau, first of all, how old are you?
74.
74?
Yes.
And how is life for you at the moment?
At the moment, you know, I'm a Christian from the youth, and I've been depending on God's merit and blessings. So, when Corona was announced that it came to Kenya, I was surprised. I thought most of the people, or most of old men, will have to go to God. But I see that I am still here with so many old people again. But the problem is that we have no friends. Some people have run away from us, and even our neighbors, my friends, and even my relatives. They don't talk to me too much. They don't come to visit me. But I depend on God, and I'm happy that I've seen a place to come and rest and get some support from my psychological problem. But I'm still praying God so that this thing, the coronavirus, may go away so that we can stay together instead of running away from all the people.
So, Mzee Kamau, when was the last time members of your family came to visit?
Myself, I live with my wife here, but she is working from afar, and I've got a child in Form 2. So I stay with that child. But you know, I like some people coming to visit me, especially religious people, my religious partners. They have run away. Most of them, they don't come to see me. I have to walk to, in the case when I have nothing to eat, I go to talk to them. Some of them are running away, but I'm still running after them. But I found Mr. Rinja Mwega. He is a good Samaritan, and I'm happy. So even my health has started becoming a bit comfortable because I suffer from chest diseases.
So, Mzee Kamau, when you see people who do not want to come and see you or talk to you, how do you feel?
It is surprising because we are born and we are brought by God in this world to stay together. Everyone come to the world between two people. You are born, you are taken care by a lot of people. But now when you start becoming old from 60 years, going forward even to 90 years, people start running away from you. But only because they have no faith. If you have faith, you have to stay with your parents, even if they are sick. You don't run away. We are taught by the Bible that when one is old, that is the time you should stay with him or her so that you get blessings for your family and for your life. But some people do not know that. That is the problem with us. We are say we have nobody to comfort us, only some doctors and some pastors.
Okay, thank you, Mzee Kamau. Stay with me. I will come back for some more questions. But let me turn to you, Elijah. The experiences of Mama Wangeshi there and what we are hearing from Mzee Kamau, are these experiences common amongst older persons in your experience?
Yes, I want to confirm they are very common every day. We have to have older people complaining that they have been abandoned by their children. There are also those who are being beaten, physical fighting by the children. There are those who are already being disinherited, like they take over the properties. The older people have no control of their own properties anymore. And they always cry because even as they want to reach like the assistance like from the chief's office or the DO's office, the movement on the road is not age friendly. We have a lot of young people, others doing business along the roads, and the older people, sometimes they feel they don't have strength to walk along the roads. So majority of them, they end up coming to our institution, asking for support to reach the chiefs and the DOs. And the same case to like marketplaces. You'll find that, yes, as we agree that they need to have healthy food, they have to have fruits, and this is a must that they go to the market. You'll find that accessibility to the market is also a problem to the older persons, especially during this period of COVID. You'll find that they are really, really suffering. And this is why we as institutions working for the older people, we call upon the government to include older people in their development meetings, or even when they are having anything to do with older people. Let it be involving older people themselves because they know their challenges they are incurring during their life.
Okay. Abuna Elijah, thank you very much indeed. Now, Carol, let me turn to you. What would you say in a country that has a predominantly huge youthful population, what is our attitudes as a society towards older persons?
Thank you, Joseph, that you raised the issue of our youth population. Our attitude to older persons is that age is an event. It's not. It's a continuum. And if we do not plan for older people, we will have a big problem further on. Can you imagine when this youthful population becomes older and we're not able to deal with the issues that affect older people? Right now, we have a small population of older persons. I think it's about 3%. But when the scales are now reversed, when our youthful population reaches the older age, then we will have a problem unless we strengthen our systems to respond to the issues of older persons, unless we deal with the societal issues that fuel ageism. We deal with the issues that then put aside older people and refuse to include them in discussions of development, even leading or touching on their own rights and issues. Yet older people have played a key role in society. They still have wisdom, but we have an attitude that older people are victims, they're helpless, all they need is care. How about if we looked at it from the point of tapping into the resource that sits with older people and use it to inform our processes, to inform our plans, our structures, so that when the group of younger people become older, then the society is ready for them. So we must absolutely begin to think about the intergenerational linkages and how aging, which starts from the day you're born, it doesn't happen when you turn 60, so that we're able to cater for the needs and rights of older people.
Okay, thank you very much indeed for that, Carol. We'll definitely come to hear back from more, but first of all, let's go to Tunisia. Odette, an 85-year-old French woman, sits embroidering while basking in the sun in one of the few hotels that remained open in Tunisia during the COVID-19 pandemic. Her retirement home occupies a wing of the seaside resort in a concept that is due to develop. Odette Prévost says, "I'm feeling good. I have a big room. I'm fine. Look, isn't that nice? Look, mimosa, everything. That's life." Geneviève Prévost, daughter of Odette, living in France, says, in any case, she would have stayed in France. She could not have had visitors at all, and she would have been confined in her small bedroom. There, I'm sure that mom would have let herself sink. She wouldn't have been there anymore. So at least there she can get out of her room, go around the patio, or even go to her little terrace where she sees the sun. It's important for the spirit. Okay, now a virus can mark you for life. For over a month, staff and older residents at a care home fought against COVID-19. They pulled through, but not before a quarter of the residents died from the virus. Marin Mishkis, psychologist at the home, says, "Fortunately, I think the worst is behind us. We now have a more stable everyday life. It's been really difficult for everyone, our residents, their families, but also for all the professionals present every day." Pauline Bouvet, a nurse at the home, says, "After a while, we wondered, when will it end? What was even more relevant was, will we have more deaths today? And when we went for days without any deaths, it felt good. It gave us a boost. It put us back in the team. It gave us a bit of joy too, so it felt good."
Il faut que vous repreniez vos habitudes maintenant.
Ben oui, voilà. C'est comme ça, mon grand. Ben, on fera avec, hein. On fera. Ça reviendra peut-être, ça reviendra peut-être. Hein. Ah oui.
Bon, ben, sinon,
ben,
t'as bien mangé?
C'est ça, hein.
Bon, ben, la chambre est...
Modoni, your thoughts on what we're just watching here, these two homes and the experiences compared to where we're at?
I asked the question.
Yeah.
Would you want to be in a care home?
Not necessarily.
Again, remember Carol said,
Yeah.
by the time we're getting older, it's not an event. See, when you have a wedding versus a marriage, the same thing or similar thing. it takes a process to get there, a whole 60 years that somebody has lived through this life. So the truth is, we need to plan for this. And it is important that, for example, I say, if I want to live in a home, what kind of home would I want to live in? What kind of services would I want to experience at that time? So how do I invest for that now? We have a habit of building some houses that we have to go up the stairs, right? By the time you're 60, 70, but again, there are 92-year-olds who can do the stairs quite comfortably. Yes. But again, there's a 60-year-old who owns such a house, but is not able to go up the stairs. Yet, they built the house. So is our environment age-friendly? You know, thinking about it? But again, in my personal opinion, I honestly don't think there's anything wrong with being in a home. Why? I get to interact with people my age. I get to enjoy services that make me get a purpose, and they give me some dignity. Again, it's a place to create new friends and even get married at 70, 80, thereabouts.
At the home?
So why not? Yes, why
All
not?
right, quite ambitious there, Tony. Now, Mama Grace, let me come to you. We've been watching other homes in other countries, but where you are at the moment, how is the situation? What is your routine every day?
Here in Karika, mostly we usually have groups from Monday to Friday where we do activities. There are some who usually do the beadworking, others we use the banana leaves, others we use the kiodos, the bags which we carry when going to the shops, others we do the table banking, and the others they make soap, liquid soap, where at least when we sell we get something to use. But since the corona came, there is nothing happening because we have no catch. So I should say we are, before the COVID came, we used to be very active, but now we are not active anymore.
So you still used to do things that can bring in some money before?
We used to, not a lot of money, just a little to help ourselves. We used to just work because the group for Monday, you know, you cannot make the kiodo, the bags, in that particular day and then you sell it the same day. It will take some days. But at least it used to give us some income. Now we are not making any more, so we have no income.
So do you have friends, and when you meet, what do you discuss?
We usually, when we meet, we usually encourage one another. Here in our group, we have our own pastor already, who usually ministers to us. So we believe in the word of God. And because God is the one who takes care of us, so we usually encourage one another because there is no young person here. It is from 60 and above 100. So we usually find, when we talk to one another, we usually feel comfortable.
Okay, let me move over to Mzee Kamau to speak to him again. Now, Bwana Kamau, for you, how does it feel to be where you are in that center?
In this center, I'm happy because when even when I'm hungry, I come here and we talk, and sometimes we get something to eat from the family here. And when I go home, and I will, people have run away from me, or I feel stressed. I read my books there, Bible, and then when the day come to this place, because we come once per week, I come here and I get some spiritual messages and briefing, and again I meet with the other old people and the women. We talk together, and then I'm encouraged to continue and the end of the week while I'm happy, because also my friends, those who are able to come to visit me, they come and comfort me, and we go on because old is not a disease. Only that the corona is getting people surprised and getting people panicking, but all the ages and this Savali is beautiful, and we should be happy. The problem is that with our government, we see as if they don't get serious to see and to know how all the people are living.
And now, Mzee Kamau, do you exercise? How do you keep strong physically?
Oh yes, I walk. I do a bit of walking twice a week. Although I'm 74, I've been walking. My profession was Gandhi, and I'm accustomed of walking and running. So I get walking around the house, and then walking up to the market, some half a kilometer away, and come back. And I go to visit my church. We talk to God every week, once per day.
Oh, okay, thank you. Now, Elijah, a question for you. When you look at our laws in Kenya and the provisions therein, how well are the older persons looked after through our laws?
Thank you. In Kenya, we need to pull up our socks, both in the society and the government. Why? Is because when you look at the society today, they even have very little respect with older people, to the level of calling them funny names, not respective, and even not giving them the respect that we used to see when we were young. When it comes to the government, I don't think government is seriously taking care of older persons. Why? Because when we look at the protective systems, older people have been left behind. We have Act for the Children, Parliament Act for the Children, protecting the children. We have Act which is protecting people with a disability. But when it comes to older people, the government is silent. I have been part of the team that is pushing for the ratification of the African Protocol on the Rights of Older Persons. And I think Kenya have taken a long time to pass this.
If that protocol was ratified by Kenya, what benefits would it bring?
It should be, it could bring some protective systems for the older people rights. And also it would allow the Kenya government even to go ahead and push for the International Convention on the Rights of Older Persons. But we cannot push for the convention when we have not ratified the regional legal framework for the protection of older persons. Okay. And also, I want to look at the grassroots level. Do we have social places for the older persons? Like we have the playgrounds for the young people, we have social houses for the young people, but when we grow old, we have nowhere to socialize. And this is why, like now, the center curricula here is very important. How I wish every sub-county could have at least 2 for the older person.
Okay, thank you. Thank you so much. Now, Carol, let me pick this up with you. We are busy developing infrastructure, roads, pavements in Nairobi, and so on. To what extent is this infrastructure older people friendly?
It's not as older friendly as it should be. Actually, it's not older friendly for the most part. And I think it's Muthoni who spoke about the building. You build a nice house that is double-story. But if you look at that from the broader social perspective, then you see there are many buildings that do not have access for wheelchairs. So it's not only older persons, but persons with disability in general. And if you're older, then you're doubly disadvantaged. So our infrastructure does not cater to the needs of older people. If you look at our roads, we do not have lanes or any infrastructure that would cater to the needs of persons with disability or whose mobility is reduced. Our public transport system, the same. We don't have buses that are, what do you call it, customized to cater for the needs of people with disabilities or older persons whose mobility is compromised. So I think we're looking at infrastructure from the perspective of our current population dynamics, which is predominantly youthful. And what I said earlier, when this population couch moves to the next phase, then we'll have a disadvantage. Right now, we have 3% of the population, and probably we do not see it as a big problem. But when a bigger part of the population moves into that age group, then we will see it as a problem. So we need to cater for the needs and rights of older persons as we plan the infrastructure and our general social and economic protection mechanisms.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Thank you so much, Carol. Now, Muthoni, for those of us who believe we will not grow old or not too quickly, can you give us a sense of what to expect in terms of what happens to our mind, to our body, to our diet, to our activities?
First, think about this. There's a day I walk into a matatu, and there's this sticker in the matatu that says, "Ata nyanyako alikuwa dim." Even your grandmother was once a pretty young lady. This is probably something that was put here by maybe the conductor, because a certain girl decided, you know what, I don't feel you. So, but think about it from another perspective. This same public transport system that has that kind of message is not considering that an older person will actually need to use that means of transport. This older person will be contributing to the economic empowerment of both the driver, actually the driver, the conductor, and the owner of the matatu. So you think about how that goes. Something that is interesting. When you're talking about healthy aging, we talk about two things. Intrinsic capacity, which is your mental and physical capacity to do things. For example, how far you can run or how fast you can run, how fast you can do your mathematics. You have 200 shillings, you need to buy bread, you get 100, what is your change? You know, those kind of things. How well you can plan, how well you can resolve conflict. And then again, there's something we call the environment, physical environment, where you live around, the kind of housing you have. For you to move from point A to point B, you definitely need a place to walk on or drive on or catch a train on, whatever it will be, that will allow you to be mobile, that will allow you to socialize. So several things will happen. So right now, probably you're 20, right? You're having a fan base. So by the time you're 60, your fan base disappears. So if you did not pick 2, 3, 4, 5 friends who were real friends, then you find yourself alone. So what do you do at that time? You can make two decisions. You either continue being socially isolated, or you will find this guy who's lived in town all his life, owns several buildings in town, will go back to the village to look for the girlfriend back in the days. Why? Because he needs social connection. So our social circles are likely to grow thinner and thinner as we grow older. Number two, you're feeling you can bounce in town. Have you looked at town on a weekday? How many older persons do you see on our streets? Why? Why? Probably it's because the physical capacity, or one is a physical capacity for them to keep around and bouncing in town.
Pace.
And, you know, hitting your shoulders like it happens when you're walking on the streets. And secondly, is our infrastructure, again, friendly to, as in, is it age friendly? Do they want to come and they know, yeah, as long as I use this path, I'm likely not to get hit or run on by a boda guy or something. Go to the banks, for example. Do we have a place where older persons
long queues and nowhere to, yeah.
That is the other thing. Find, for example, okay, another case in the banks, you'll find that somebody who has cognitive decline, as in will have challenges on their operating the bank accounts and stuff like that. But what does a banker who is 20, 30 do? Is like, this is actually an opportunity to, you get. So all these things that we need to really look into. Again, teeth will fall off. So right now you're happy doing your meat every day, or you're walking along the street and you buy your maize.
Okay.
A time comes when you just can't do that.
Right.
So you probably need to adapt to that, but still maintain your healthy diet, or see what options are there. Do you want to have many nice gold teeth or something?
Thank you, Dr. Modani. Now we're going to go on a break, but just before we do that, there's some feedback from you. Let's look at what you've been saying on our hashtag New Normal. And this first comment is from Mihadarati. Take care of them at home. Let them enjoy your company at that old age. You don't know what blessings they've got, instead of taking them to a place like jail to them. Asante sana, that's what you do. Onyango Joshua, you say, having elders around us is the greatest blessings to youth. I prefer taking care of them myself. Asante Onyango. We also have a comment here from Afwande Samuel. If my elderly parents didn't take me to the children's home, who am I to take them to the home for the elderly? Kijiji hakiwezi endelea bila wazee, ila kinaweza endelea bila vijana. Okay, asante. Faith Kamene, you say, having to take care of my now late grandparents at home was a blessing that happened in my life. The experience taught me to be compassionate towards the elderly and my own parents, and they equipped me with amazing life skills that school never taught me. Asante, Faith. Another one here from Wesley Bet. I will not send them to the home, okay, sawa. Leslie Nash, you say, yes, Pap. Okay, what? You should give us reasons for that. Amina Jumba, you say, nope, hapana, watakaa tu nyumbani, okay. And this one is from Wesley Bet again. Sorry, I will not send them. I think we read that before. Thank you so much for your comments. Keep them coming in. Our hashtag is New Normal. You can also reach us via our WhatsApp line. We'll be right back after the break with more from Your World.
Mix of the Week in association with Airtel.
I don't charge my energy. Bossy.
Look in the mirror, say yes, I'm the best.
This is a short deal.
Completely transparent.
Okay.
If only all things in life were as honest as Airtel's amazing data. Get 500 MB free daily. Switch to Airtel and save. The Honest Network.
Love garlic in your food but hate the hustle of making it? Introducing Fresh Fried Garlic, specially crafted with garlic oil for healthy living. The oil has a beautiful garlic aroma and adds an extra kick when used on your favorite meals. Fresh Fried Garlic combines wonderfully on salads, stir fries, marination for meat, or simply when sprinkled on your favorite dish. Try Fresh Fried Garlic today. Available in all leading outlets countrywide.
Building tips for general construction. Fast drying should be portioned well with ballast and sand. Mixing should be constant. Should not have excess water. Exactly 50 kilograms guaranteed in each bag.
Adding strength to Kenya's landmarks. Power for specialized constructions. Cementing the nation's future. Simba Cement, the strength and pride of Kenya.
Now also produced in Nakuru and Mombasa.
That is when we've seen the support of Equity, because the loan which I took to pay teachers, it has been rescheduled to 2021. We are not going to stop because there is Corona.
St. Paul's University invites you to a virtual graduation ceremony which will be held on Friday, October 9th, 2020 at the Limuru campus. The ceremony will be covered live on NTV from 10 a.m. St. Paul's University, your university of choice.
Infinix, the future is now.
To your world, and this Thursday morning our focus is on the senior citizens in our society, our older Kenyans, and we've got a panel here who's helping me to address some of these issues. With me here in the studio is Dr. Muthoni Igishu, who is a medical gerontologist, who is an expert on aging and the older persons. We're also joined by Carol Agengo, who is in our next door studio. She is the regional director of HelpAge International Africa. And we have Elijah Mwega, founder of Karika Homes. And then we also have two senior citizens who have been engaging us in a really interesting discussion. Mama Grace Wangeshi and also Peter Kamau, Mzee Peter Kamau, who is 74 years old but still keeping strong. And actually, I want to start with my older Kenyans. Now, let me come to you, Mzee Kamau. So the government has been giving out this, the cash transfers for older people. Have you been receiving that?
This money was divided in two parts. I hear there are people getting money from the time the corona came, and that is another section. I'm in the section of, or in the part of getting money from the bank, which is sent to only people in Kenya. From 70 years, you get something. But the problem is that now we have completed 3 months, nothing. And this should be taken, it should come to us every end of the month. I don't know what is happening. From the time I joined, I am 2 years now getting this money. It comes up with 4 months, 3 months, and sometimes 2 months. And this is not very good, because only people are suffering. Those getting money from the bank, because you go there every week, you are told there is nothing. And I hear that there are some people who have filled the form to get money for 70 years, old people, and they have not get, especially from reserves. I'm happy in Nairobi, and I started getting it as I came to 70 years.
So Mzee Kamau, when that money does not come, how do you survive? What do you do?
I just depend on friends, because I'm a serious Catholic staff or Catholic Christians. I go to the parish, or I go to my Christian groups, and they know me. So sometimes I get something from them every month, 2 packets of unga and sugar. And this is also very painful, because getting something from people, some of them you see, you look at them, they are not happy. So I would like this. The government is ours. I started working for government when I was a younger person. And when I'm old, they should be serious to see that I am not hungry. When I'm sick, I go to hospital. Especially now I've got NHF. When you go to the hospital, NHF is not updated. When I get that money, I buy food, I buy medicine. Then my NHF is not paid. I'm appealing to have another special card for older people, the government to look for another card to help people after on 28th every month. We get something.
Okay.
And that money is on.
Thank you. Thank you, Mzee Kamau. Those are useful points there, and especially about how the NHIF is working. Let me move over to Mama Grace to speak to you as well. What about you? Do you get any help, money from the government?
I don't get the money because I have not reached 70. I'm 68 years old.
So how are you surviving?
So I don't. We survive on working on our own. You have your dependents, and as Mr. Kamau said, people, when they look at you, they are not happy when you keep on borrowing. So we are appealing to our government to consider us. They should go back to the 60 years old rather than 70 years. Because even when we were given the NHIF card, it doesn't work anymore. Whenever you go to the hospital, you are told there is no money for you in the hospital. So I should say they should consider us. And the money for those who are given, it should be coming every end of the month because we are suffering. So we depend on our relatives mostly.
Okay. Mama Wangeshi, thank you very much indeed. Now, let me come to you, Dr. Muthoni. Those experiences with the cash transfer, your thoughts on that?
You see, like every new system, there's some teething problems. And it is true, yes, sometimes there's a delay, but eventually it gets to happen. That's a good thing about it. And I think this is actually, it was a very brilliant idea because it helps the older persons cushion themselves against basic things. You know, like you've heard, borrowing is not very good. Actually, it strips you of your dignity. But with the 2,000 shillings every month, even if it comes after 4 months, it would be a lump sum of 8,000. So somebody can actually be able to plan themselves around it. So yes, we will not say that there are no teething issues. There are, and like any new system. And then again, remember, there are people who are turning 70 every single day, and then how to get them onto the process. And maybe one last thing, it is important that we all see how it is that we plan for this time. We have skill that we pick or we learn or we practice over our lifetime. How about using that skill to have some income even after retirement for those who choose to retire, or even having places where we can do volunteerism. Think about it. For example, if we had a child daycare run by older persons, they're likely to give better care to the children. They will teach the children on values. They will promote intergenerational experiences and intermingling, and they will also get some income from doing that. So we probably also need to be a little more creative and accommodative to the older persons.
Okay.
Yeah.
Carol, to you as well. What are your thoughts about financial support for the older persons?
I agree with Muthoni that the Inua Jamii program, the cash transfer program, was a brilliant idea. It's had its teething problems, and of course, we're dealing with very big numbers. Just to look at the numbers, the older persons who are 60 plus are 2.7 million. Those who are 70 plus are 1.198 million. Inua Jamii is only reaching, because it's Inua Jamii 70 plus, it's only reaching 764,000. as at February 2020. And at that time, we had about 434,000 that were not accessing Inua Jamii. And it's because of the dynamic that Muthoni mentioned. We have 70-year-olds we have 69-year-olds turning 70 every day. So I think we need to go back to the drawing board. Policies must reflect the changes in the demographics so that we're able to plan for it. Our socioeconomic policies should also address the needs of older persons. The example Muthoni gave is brilliant, of using older persons to run children's homes, for example. But what other things could older persons do in the society which would benefit not only themselves, but also the younger in the society, and give them a source of income, keep them engaged, and that way they keep their mental facilities intact and they're able to contribute positively to the society. If we look at the two older persons who are on this program, they're strong, they're healthy, they've spoken about their challenges, but that does not mean that there's nothing they can do to bring value to the society. So I'll go back briefly to something that Elijah also said about the AU protocol and the laws. It is important that we anchor our responses on very sound legal and policy frameworks, because otherwise then we're doing what we've done for a long time, and that is doing charity towards older people. It should go beyond that, so that we have the laws in the country which are not bad in and of themselves, but which are buttressed by the AU protocol, which Kenya must absolutely ratify, and which are also supported by the proposed UN Convention on the Rights of Older Persons. Okay. These frameworks provide a broad-based approach to addressing the rights of older persons, and then Kenya as a country would contextualize it and implement it from the very contextual and the legal framework that we have.
Okay.
So, yes.
Yeah, thank you, Carol. Now, Elijah, let me stay on the subject of finances for a minute. What kind of pressure do the older people face from younger people in the family who have no income, and they are looking up to the older folk because maybe they're the ones with property, or maybe they're the ones with a little pension? What kind of pressure do they face from other people in the members of the family?
I want to say Kenya, we need to pull up success, because in terms of supporting older people, every day, every time, we hear that there are no jobs. Yes, you can bear with me that, yes, the government is trying to come up with youth empowerment programs, but the truth of the matter is that the majority of our young people depend on older people, and these older people, then they are not employable, they are not having income that they really can support the whole family. But I always see older people suffering because majority of them, they are taking care of their grandchildren who cannot be taken care by the parents by themselves. Those they depend on the older persons. You look at the situation today, even the young people, they do not have capacity to buy their own properties. So they depend on what the older people got it. And this has brought a lot of conflict within the families. So a lot of pressure to the older persons. And equally, I would say, though the government had the will to support them, when the president introduced the Inua Jamii program, the issue here is also, even if the idea is good and it is not implemented, what happens? Majority of older people who are 70 years and above are not accessing this social protection cash transfer. We need to work on it, make sure that all the older people who are 70 years already get their cash transfer, and also empower our young people. Why I say young people to be empowered is because they always depend on the older people, the little they had saved, cannot cater for their children and their grandchildren.
Oh, okay, thank you. Let me come back to you, Mzee Kamau, if you can still hear me. Now, you told us where were you working before retirement?
I was a private guard somewhere in a private hospital.
You were a guard in at a hospital?
Yes.
And how was life then, at that time, when as a young, strong man?
As I came, I started I joined the security profession when I was a younger person. I came, you know, the salaries was very small all the time. And even when I left the hospital employment, I was getting very small money, even paying the house. Sometimes the landlord was very furious, starting to take my chairs away and the tables, but I managed to push all that time, and I thanked God, because when I reached 70 and I was told to go on retirement, I thanked God because I've done the profession I wanted, and I am happy because I've got a good record. But now, the problem is that I was being paid very little money, and now I'm depending only on God and his friends to keep me, because even at home, the place I am, my parents had a lot of problems. So I am put on the road, but having a faith to God, I don't get something to eat like in bands.
And so now, Mzee Kamau, to be a security officer or a security guard requires a lot of discipline. Do you still keep discipline at 74?
Yes, I told you, I always, a week I walk, and sometimes I try to run. The problem is that my chest is not good.
Okay.
But you know, I've done a lot of practice when I was a soldier. So I'm still going on, and I eat well.
What do you eat? What is your diet? What do you eat?
Oh, I eat small ugali, the ugali and some chapati, and I like drinking the lemon juices. And if I get honey, I take it. And as a person who have staying in a hospital, I was working in the hospital for 10 years. So I keep myself to be a doctor for my body.
Okay.
So I eat even carrots and fruits.
Thank you so much, Mzee Kamau. You are a doctor of your own body. let me hear more from Mama Wangeshi. What about you, Mama Wangeshi? First of all, how do you maintain your health? You still look very strong. How do you keep strong?
When I was young, I was working with our Kenya government. I stopped working because of the health. I was taken to Kenyatta Hospital to a panel of doctors, and they said I could not continue working. That is how I stopped working. So at least now, as Mr. Kamau said, you have to be doctor of yourself. We like eating. Me, I like eating anyway. So I usually eat twice a day when there is food. When there is no food, I don't. But at least I prefer balanced food because of my health. At the moment, the way you see me here, I have blood pressure and diabetes. And you know you cannot continue with diabetes without eating. You will just die without eating anyway.
So what is your diet? What do you eat?
I start, okay, for lunch I prefer eating, lunch and supper I eat beans, ugali, cabbages is a must. I like eating cabbages because you have to continue with the food which can build your body. And for breakfast, at least I take tea, bread. When there is an egg, I eat. When there is no egg, I don't. That is how I maintain my body.
Okay.
And I drink a lot of water. And, you know, even when you are moving around the house, you know that is an exercise, even if you don't do the exercise itself. But up to last year, I used to go for walk in the morning at 6 every day. I would walk at least 3 kilometers, but now I don't.
And now, Mama Wangeshi, when you were younger, did you imagine about getting old, and did you prepare for like a time like now?
I was not prepared. You know, when you are young, even you, I'm sure, where you are, I don't think you thought that one day you'll be old. But you will just find yourself there. And when you are there, there is no change now. You know, it goes slowly, slowly. But now, you know, when it was sunrise, now we are waiting for our sunset days.
So did you wake up one day and you realize, wow, now I am over 60?
You know, the time I was reaching 60 is when my health was very bad.
Right.
And, you know, when your health is bad, your thinking capacity also goes slow.
Okay, which is what Mudhoni was telling us. And now, my last one to you is, have you unfortunately lost any friends in this pandemic season? Have there people who have departed, some people that you know, maybe your age?
I don't have a relative who has passed this time of pandemic, but I have friends who have died. Yes.
Pole sana Mama Wangeshi. Let me go back to Mzee Kamau there to also ask you the same thing. If you can hear me, Bona Kamau, you are a guard, a young man, strong and fit. Did you imagine one day you would be old, you would be 74, and did you plan for that?
Oh, yes. As a guard, you know, you are given a lot of education and seminars, and I reading books. And you know, as a guard, you know you can die any time, any day. And so you prepare your people, and prepared my wife to have a course, or a practical course. I wanted to be a tailor. So I was preparing myself. And then I joined the insurance for 1974. That was 1974. But my family, there were problems. My parents, their samba was taken by the bank because they had a loan and they did not pay well. So I had to take over paying the loan. And again, they started pushing me here and there. Then I went to court, high court. Then my money, all my money, 6 years going to bank to pay the loan, and again to go to the high court to ask why they are trying to take me away from the samba. So I've been living with such problems. The good thing with me is that I've been trained as a Christian from the young. And you know, I am called Peter. You hear Peter. Peter is a rock. So I just walk with that faith of Joshua. And I know I will get somewhere. I'm starting to know where I can get my friends. We talk together. Then I get a plot somewhere in Kenya. Because Abraham got a samba from very far from Babylon.
So Mzee Kamau, did you manage to save the shamba, or did it go to the bank?
Oh, the samba I was saving, I was chased away by Muse. You know, that's why I would like the government to take over the looking for the Wase, because there are some people who have lived very miserably. They have got parents who are just like giants. They don't look for their children. Then we come old when we have nothing. You have helped your parents, and then they kick you away. And they only come, and the only age is coming. So I was taken over by those two things. Problem at home, problem for age, but age is embraced me because I know I'm going to my God, after talking to my friends and preaching to people to be hard working.
Okay, one more question, Mzee Kamau. Have you also sadly lost any friends during this season of Corona?
Oh, I recently heard that they are members of a Christian community. We call them Jumuiyas. 2 people have passed. These are from Western Province. I come from Eastern Province, so I just heard they died. And because I don't go to church, we were not going to church, but recently we were allowed to go. I started going to know who are those people. They were of my group.
Okay. Mzee Kamau, thank you very much indeed, and pole sana for that loss. Now we'll take a short break. We'll be right back with more, but before then, some of your comments we should be looking at on our hashtag New Normal, what you've been saying on our hashtag. Yes, there's one here from Yusuf Obote. Youth and the elderly, these are the forgotten group. Thank you, Yusuf. Another comment here from Nyokavi. You say, I'd rather take care of them from my home and get a stay-at-home caregiver. Thank you so much, Ms. Nyokavi. Owagar Sam, we don't even have a special healthcare package for the elderly, yet they fall under special groups in healthcare. Thank you for that. On a break now, right back with more from your world.
Safaricom iko na 500 MB free kila siku.
Get 500 MB free kila siku and never miss a moment. Dial *544# to activate your offer. Browse Pilawas on Kenya's best network.
Taught us, sallallahu alayhi wasallam, that we should keep cleanliness. Actually, he said that cleanliness is what is best for a Muslim. And from him, Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wasallam, hand washing, which is part of cleanliness, hand washing, that we wash our hands, we wash our faces, we wash every time with soap. This is part of what the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam taught us.
We featured him some time back on this show, and he's still scaling the heights in Accra, Ghana.
Right now, they know nyama choma vizuri sana.
Livingstone Asikoye, the chef at Alisa Hotel. We will also cross over to Rwanda, where Kenyan teacher turned farmer Peter Karanja is excelling in macadamia farming. On Kenya to the World segment, we will tell you why Kenyan flowers are doing well in Ghana. On My Magical Kenya, why this Giriama jig made me lose weight.
Mommy, so I can just be doing school from home.
No, Mama, that will never happen.
Schools in Kenya will remain closed until further notice.
2020 showed us to never say never. Ensure your happiness with APN.
It's one platform where everybody has a voice.
If we don't have jobs, if we don't have money, if our business...
Hosted by the King of Wit.
Do you know the Bible to that much detail? Ama hizi ni zile tu zinaendanishana na dhambi zenye unajua.
It's basically everybody's show.
Vitamin C ni cassava, shauri ya nguvu. Vitamin D ni dania.
Anachapukula, anaimba. I have decided.
The Wicked Edition with Dr. King Ori and the Guesswork CEO, Kenya Jui.
The Kisumu County Assembly specializes in stimulants, to be specific, concentrated coffee,
where humor meets sense.
Moses Kure alinitwanga hapa serious.
Soldiers wanakuanga wameka polisi hivi. Mbona nyinyi mkimbiangi mkituona?
The Wicked Edition. Every Friday at 7:30 p.m. only on NTV.
He was a Kenyan Asian who counted amongst his closest friends some of the most powerful African leaders in the country. Among them, Tom Mboya and Charles Njonjo.
I was struck by Hassan's contribution in several areas.
Hassan Ratanzi was one of the few friends Mboya had confided in regarding his fears that his life was in danger. And he would be one of the last people Mboya ever talked to.
Mommy, so I can just be doing school from home.
No, Mama, that will never happen.
Schools in Kenya will remain closed until further notice.
2020 showed us to never say never. Ensure your happiness with APA.
It looks like Lushan is sticking her nose into things that are none of her business.
This isn't the right time.
He was always after me and everything was just going great. Until Marta got in the way, just as she did with your father.
If there's anything that concerns my children, you have to tell me about it. Do you understand?
Excuse me for interfering, but if Luciana didn't...
But still, she doesn't have any right to keep from me anything that has to do with my children.
Yes, but...
I don't even want to think about how much trouble she's in.
Luciana, the fact that I can't be with you doesn't mean that I can just forget everything I feel for you.
Are you alright, Madam Lillian? Is anything wrong? It's nothing you can fix. Nobody has the cure for love problems.
Along Came Love, in association with Blue Band Peanut Butter.
Infinix, the future is now.
Welcome back to Your World. But just before we get back into our discussion this morning, let's see what else is going on in the rest of the world. Now, one of the winners of the 2020 Nobel Medicine Prize, Charles Rice, says discovering the Hepatitis C virus and paving the way for a cure has renewed enthusiasm in people to see if we couldn't achieve that for other chronic viral infections like Hepatitis B and HIV.
The success of these drug treatments for hepatitis C and the fact that you can actually eliminate the virus, you can actually cure people, you can get rid of it, I think has renewed enthusiasm in people to see if we couldn't achieve that for other chronic viral infections like hepatitis B and HIV.
With a record number of children not attending school in the United States because of closures due to the COVID-19 pandemic, more women have resolved to put aside their jobs and devote their time to homeschooling and managing their households.
How many days do we have in the month of October? It's so stressful to be a parent at home, you know, being their teacher, their therapist, etc., being the wife, being the mom. Having to cook dinner, clean the house. I've forgotten to take care of myself. There are times during the day that I forgot to eat. There are times during the day that I forgot to take my vitamins or my medicine. 9. My time is pretty much all about my son right now. It's all about him. And it's unfortunate that we have this whole COVID situation. And I feel sorry for my son at the same time because it's not only me having the socialization.
4, 5, 6, pick up sticks.
Right now, I am a realtor, and it's very hard to be able to work in this industry and be able to be available, you know, to your clients at a given time. The revenue is definitely has decreased a lot, you know, and I thank God have my husband that works full time, where, you know, he is the one that actually makes ends meet for us. If I was a single mother with my son, I probably would be homeless right now. I would be homeless. I would not have a home. We would not have food in our refrigerator. I wish that the resources were there for us parents that have kids with that are on the spectrum, or any parent that has a child with special needs. The resources are so limited. You know, right now we have to, like I said, we have to go digging to find out what is actually available, whether it's anything that may help enhance his learning. It's not given to you. Even though you went through step by step by me, I looked at it, I'm like, oh my God, it's a mess. Like if you see the slide and with the company logo on it, did you see one of the slide photos? So I went ahead and I sent her a whole list, and it was a lot.
There was no revolution, French restaurant manager says after new restrictions to fight against COVID-19 were announced. What matters the most to him is that customers continue to come to the restaurants. But Adrien Fallier explains that he has to avoid as much loss as possible and fears having to throw away more produce. So we let our suppliers run out today to see a little bit what was going to happen. Adrian says, today we prepared for tomorrow so that we can do what is necessary, implementing the new regulations. There is no miracle. Here we are. We bought what we needed. We prepared our room in the best way we could due to respect 100% the rules that were imposed on us. But there was no revolution. We continued to work as we did before. Welcome to 5-star quarantine in Thailand, where well-heeled tourists can live in luxury while obeying some of the world's strictest anti-coronavirus measures. At the Senses Resort overlooking Phuket's Patong Bay, 16 villas have been specially prepared for quarantine guests. And as we look for that video for you, let's move on to another story. The Flu U Baker Group gathers in front of the John Joseph Mockley United States Courthouse in Boston, Massachusetts, to rally against the mandatory flu vaccine dictated by Governor Charlie Baker. The group has formed a class action lawsuit against the state.
We, the people, are fighting and will not stop until we retake our country. We need to fight for our First Amendment right, our Second Amendment right. We need to fight every day, because someone once said, when tyranny becomes law, rebellion becomes duty. That's right. I see rebellion right here, don't you?
This is a government overreach with the flu shot right now, because I don't think it's going to end there. It's going to start with the flu shot, and it's going to start with mandating other things, perhaps the COVID vaccine, that a lot of people don't want because it's not safe right now.
If he, and hopefully does survive it, I think it goes back to the fear-mongering. He's 74 years old, he's overweight, no offense. And if he can survive it and recover from it, then that's my opinion on that. The fear-mongering needs to stop.
I have
have 7 kids, and you know, we regardless of what's in the vaccine or anything, I feel that I should be the one deciding what goes in their bodies and when, and not the government.
Let me welcome you again to 5-star quarantine in Thailand, where the well-heeled tourists can, live in luxury while obeying some of the world's strictest anti-coronavirus measures. At the Senses Resort overlooking Phuket's Patong Bay, 16 villas have been specially prepared for quarantine guests. Take a look.
We have the stronger policy that the guests have to stay in the room for 24/7 and until they complete the quarantine program. We choose it to be the quarantine hotel because we want to support and help the local people who are suffering badly from COVID-19, and also for the unemployed staff, that they can return to work and they can make money to survive for themselves and family. Normally the package including 3 meals a day, private car transfer from Phuket International Airport, a nurse is on call 24/7, and you will have the temperature check up twice a day. Also COVID test will be take place on the day 5 and day 10. During the stay, the guest will not allow to leave the room until the quarantine program is finished.
That's quarantine for you. No, for the special ones. Now, the COVID-19 pandemic is a wake-up call for the international community, says WHO Director General, who also urges people to come together to fight the virus, not each other.
The pandemic is a wake-up call for all of us. We must all look in the mirror and ask what we can do better and learn honestly. We're not on the wrong path. We're on the right path, but we need to go faster. We need to go further. And we need to build on the transformation. We need to go together. Merci. Fighting each other wastes more energy. We can actually finish this virus with less energy. Let's use all the energy we have to fight the virus, not each other. To join me in standing for a moment.
Welcome back to the final section of our discussion this morning, which focuses on the senior citizens in Kenya. My panel is Dr. Muthoni Gishu, who is a medical gerontologist, expert on aging and older persons. We also have with us Carol Agengo, Regional Director, Healthpage International Africa, and Elijah Mwega, who is the founder of Karika Homes. We also have had the beautiful company of 2 senior citizens, Mama Grace Wangeshi, and also Mzee Peter Kamau, who've been sharing their experiences about growing older in Kenya. Carol, I want to start with you. For people who, old age may seem distant, what are your tips for preparing for that time when you get much older, needing much more help from others?
The first thing is to accept that you're going to grow old. There's someone who said, I can't remember anymore, that you need to start preparing for old age from the age of 16. So I think once you have it in your mind that you're going to grow old, then it will influence a lot of the decisions that you make. Earlier on, Dr. Muthoni spoke about the intrinsic part of our engaging with aging and with ourselves as older persons. There's also the part where you become instrumental. So you speak about it, you add your voice to others so that you're able to bring about change. Because one of the things that prevents us from dealing with issues relating to aging is ageism, which is basically the singling out, stereotyping, discrimination on the basis of age. And ageism affects both the young and old, but the old are affected more because then you're labeled an older person and you're tagged as someone who's dependent and a problem in society, especially during these COVID times. So if we have this mindset, then we'll be addressing ageism from the perspective that our planning, all our processes, all our social interactions, our economic activities will have the older persons in mind, so that if we're planning for infrastructure like we spoke about earlier on, we have that in mind. If we're planning from a personal perspective for retirement, then we have in mind that we're actually going to age. The government will take into account the issues that affect older people when they make plans, when they make budgets, when they look at the health systems, when they look at our social systems. And in that way, then, we're able to look at aging from a perspective of an integral part of society, not as a problem to the society.
Thank you, Carol. Same question to you, Muthoni. Now, I'm 25, or example of me at 25, and 65 is so far away. Experiences from your work, or people who just wake up one day and realize, my gosh, I'm actually retired, and what am I going to do with my life?
I like the way Carol has put it, at 16. At the same time, if you miss it at 16, when you get employed, we need to ask our employers to actually prepare people who are newly employed for retirement or old age. That is one. Secondly, think about it. 25, 40, 65, it's only 40 years. It's only 4 decades. And the interesting part is how it moves quite fast. So what are some of the things that we need to do? We actually need to know and acknowledge and accept that, yes, someday we're going to get old. And what do I need to put in place? For example, I might have a family with 10 children and I have 100 acres of land. Do I want them to fight over that? Or do I want to tell them, as Africans, we don't do wills? Because I was actually having a conversation with somebody yesterday and they told me, when I do a will today, it means I'm going to die tomorrow. But that's not the thing. I'm just saying, this is how I would like you to continue living, or you to handle me at that time. Again, it is a conversation we need to have. The people who are 65 today, can you just be open with us and tell us what are some of the things that we might have done differently? And then sometimes we'll also learn from other people's experiences. What are some of the things that you could have done differently that would make your current situation or experience different? Again, we need to talk about, see the way we talk about other issues, we need to talk about how our life has been when we are 60, 70, 90. What are some of the experiences that have made us successful today? What are some of the experiences that might not have made me be where I want to be today? We need to have those conversations.
Okay, thank you. Elijah, some of the comments we aired earlier from our viewers, a lot of people would prefer not to take their older parents into home care, but you're in the business of home care. That must be not very good news for you.
I don't think so, but it also depends on one. Looking at the trend today, we used to have social gatherings, social family ties, and nowadays you find that the children are going out for greener pastures, they leave their parents. Out of that, you'll find that other children have gone to the cities and they no longer come back to homes, to their households or the family. And as a result, you find the majority of older people nowadays are living in isolation. That is telling that we need to have homes for the older persons. Gradually, it will come to be like any other country outside there. Why I say this is because when I started learning the daycare, people were wondering, like, where do I get the older people from? Today, older people come by themselves, and even they come as early as 7 to the center because they feel they belong there. In the society, we don't have social places for the older persons. And like there before, we used to hear that once somebody retires from employment in the cities, they go back home. Nowadays, we don't go home because older people, they are the same people who bought the houses in the cities, like now Nairobi, and they can no longer go back to the up country. So they remain in the cities where they don't have social places to go. Therefore, I know there is the belief or perception that one would be seen like they are ignoring their parents when they are in need of them. But the truth of the matter, reality is speaking, that much as we go for greener pastures, we leave our older people in the houses, and we even go to an extent of employing caregivers for our older people, not looking at what would be better for the older persons by themselves.
Okay.
They want to relate with their age mates.
Thank you, Elijah.
They want to associate with their age.
Thank you so much. We're running out of time. Let me go to Mzee Kamau, if you can still hear me. So, Mzee Kamau,
I can hear you.
Yes, when you look back over your life, what do you regret?
Oh, as a Christian from my youth, I don't regret because I've been trained in my church. When problems come, you tackle them. So I have tackled the problems for my parents, the problem for my family, and I told you, looking to God and His friends, I'm ready, and I know I will be a millionaire in 2 years to come.
Thank you, Mzee Kamau. Now, what advice would you give to a person who is 25 years old, how they prepare for their old age?
Well, first of all, as a Christian, I would tell them to kneel down and pray God, to give them wisdom, like Solomon. Because these days, we have problems with those people, those even who have learned, educated, and they become useless. So, one has to pray God and to do sports, not to smoke, do not drink beer, do not jindunga masindano huko sijui ya wapi, don't eat miraa so much, then you will be all right. And then you always and drink always, like my sister here said, drink water, not pombe.
Okay, Mzee Kamau, thank you very much indeed. When you say don't drink, don't smoke, you've wiped out the entire aspiration of youth. Now, let me turn to you. Mama Grace, what is your advice to young people today preparing for old age?
I should say for those who are working in whichever area you are working, start saving from the early age. Believe in God, because me, where I am, it is my God who has brought me this far. So I should say, as Mr. Kamau said, they should stop drinking, especially the alcohol. They should stop completely and smoking. What I should say is when they continue even interacting with their own parents, even their grandparents, God will help them, so that even themselves, they will find themselves there in that age. Otherwise, if they don't, and they will even perish earlier than the years we are. So I should say they should trust in God in everything that they are doing. And especially they should not neglect their parents and grandparents.
Thank you, Mama Wangeshi. But also, Mzee Kamau wants to be a millionaire soon. What about yourself?
I'm also waiting to be a millionaire.
Okay.
So that when the sunset days comes, I'll go to the graves when I'm rich.
Okay.
And I'll leave my people with something to eat.
Asante, Mama Wangeshi. Thank you very much indeed. Remember us when you become that millionaire. We are still hustling. Okay, now as we come to the final closing thoughts, Carol, your final thoughts as we wind up the program?
Thank you, Joseph, for this very interesting discussion. For me, I would just say that for whatever we do for older people, let's think about these 7 things: their dignity, their protection, their well-being, equality, non-discrimination, accountability, and participation. And if we think about this in all we do, whether it's the political, the personal, the social, the economic, then we'll have embraced the rights of older people. And we have to keep thinking, are we going to do it proportionally less or proportionally more because of where they are? So those would be my final thoughts. And if we do that, we will have a society where older people live healthy, dignified, and secure lives.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Carol. Last word from you, Modoni. Old people still have dreams. Sasa, your closing thought?
Of course, yes.
Yeah.
And as we get into the decade of healthy aging, which is 2020 to 2030, so somebody who's 50 today will be 60 by the end of a decade of healthy aging. Let us make our environment an age-friendly environment in whatever space we are in.
Okay. Well, thank you. Thank you very much indeed to all our panel, Dr. Modoni Gishu, who is a medical gerontologist and expert on aging and older persons. We also want to say thank you to Carol Agengo, Regional Director of HelpAge International Africa, as well as Elijah Mwega, who's the founder of Karika Homes. And my many, many, many thanks to our senior citizens, Grace Wangeshi, and also Peter Kamau, who joined us all the way from that home where they have good discussions and a lot of fun and look back on their productive year. So that's it for this discussion for today. Tomorrow, we focus on your back. Yes, how do you take care of your back to avoid spine disease? How healthy is your back? And what triggers problems with your spine? What kind of mattresses do you lie on? And what kind of chair do you sit on? What shoes do you wear? If you've had any back problem, what caused it? These and other issues of the spine tomorrow morning here on Your World starting at 7 a.m. But before that, as always, a great workout session awaits you. It's on offer, free of charge, courtesy of NTV under the guidance of our fitness instructors. Ni hayo kwa sasa. Have a blessed day and stay safe. Look forward to your sunset years.